Today, I want to share a story with you that made all the difference for me. Welcome to English Coach 3Ts. I'm Tanya. When I was a child and even as a young adult, I was scared of the dark. Actually, I was scared of a lot of things. You could even say I was scared of my own shadow. This is a phrase we use just to say that something or someone is really scared of a lot of things all the time. In hindsight, I can see now that I actually had anxiety. It wasn't necessarily about being scared of everything, but we never talked about things like anxiety and depression and some of the things we have a lot more information about today. But in this story, I want to share something that was very touching to me, meaning it's close to my heart. It was very kind. It was something that I didn't expect at all. So even into my early 30s, when I had 2 young children and I was a single mom, I didn't like to sleep in the darkness. Now I like it to be pitch black, meaning completely dark. But at that time, I would often sleep with a light on. And if I was particularly anxious or scared at that time, I would maybe leave several lights on. I was also living in a little casita. Casita is a Spanish word that we use a lot in the English language, especially here in the United States. It means a little house. My dad had a friend who owned the main house and they rented the little house to me. And these 2 houses were very close together. I would say you might be able to park a car between the 2 houses, but you wouldn't have much room more than that. So that's important for the rest of this story here in just a minute. One night I left almost all of the lights on in the house. My 2 daughters had gone to sleep. I was feeling scared and nervous and I couldn't sleep. So leaving the lights on helped me to feel a little more safe so I could go to sleep. A few days, or it might have been a week later, the owner of the big house mentioned to me that she had noticed that I had left all the lights on in the house when I was sleeping, and she was just curious about it. She wasn't asking me in a way that was upsetting or prying. We say somebody is prying when they are in our business and really should be thinking of their own business. She wasn't doing that. She was just curious and wondering if everything was okay. So I kind of told her what I've told you about being scared of the dark. And what she said next is something I will never forget. She said to me, "Tanya, I don't want you to be scared. What can we do to help?" And I was so touched by this, that these people who knew my dad but really didn't know me very well would be wanting to help me with something that seemed like something most people had made fun of me for all or most of my life. I didn't really know how to answer the question, but she said, if you're ever scared or if anything ever happens, just pick up one of those bricks. There was a brick on the ground between our 2 houses. And she said, just pick up one of those bricks and throw it through that window. That's our bedroom window. And we will come right away to make sure that you're safe. I was really amazed that this woman would tell me that I could break her window in order to feel safe. I mean, this is someone who really cares about helping other people to feel safe. I think that this is one of the many reasons it's so important to me to create an environment where people feel safe when they're learning English. And if you're a woman with an intermediate to advanced level of English, I'd love to share with you my 3 secrets to becoming fluent without wasting time and without doing things that don't work. This is a free workshop, and you can register or sign up at the link below in the description or at the link you see here on your screen. To finish up this story, I just want to share that it was very soon after that I was never scared of the dark again. And it is still something I think about when I think about the power of kindness. How much being kind and thoughtful can really make the difference in someone else's life. And to illustrate that for you, or to show you that, I just like to share that earlier in my life, I had times that I was so scared I couldn't sleep. I had other times in college where I was so scared I stayed in my bed not sleeping, finally getting up the courage to go to my roommate's room and sleep on their floor. There were many times that I was so scared I felt sick to my stomach. But this one kind thought, she had not thought it through. She had not even known what was happening for me. But as soon as she found out, she immediately thought of a way where I could feel safe. I wonder how our world would be if more people were like this. I'm curious what your thoughts are, or if you have a story similar to this one, or a story that this one reminds you of. I'd love to hear your experiences. And finally, I'd like to talk a little bit about why sharing stories like these and others is one of the main things I do here on my channel. Have you ever heard of comprehensible input? Comprehensible input is one of the main things you need for learning English. This is just a fancy way to say that one of the main things you need is to listen to and also read things that you understand the vast majority or most of what you're hearing or reading. And it can be very difficult to find this kind of content. That's why I like to make stories for you so that you will have a lot of comprehensible input that you can choose from. How can you take advantage of this? I talk about this in a lot of my other stories, but mainly you want to be listening to things you understand as often as possible and reading things where you understand most of it at least 3 or 4 times a week. If you want to learn a little bit more about why learning English with stories is better, watch this video next so that I can explain it in a little bit more detail and help you to understand. I'll see you there. Bye.